And welcome back. I have big news to share because Redfin just announced today that home sold prices have decreased by 3% in March. The biggest decrease we've seen in over a decade. On top of that, we're seeing an exit of home sellers as well as home buyers as well. So for example, pending home sales and new listings fell to the lowest levels since the start of this pandemic. So in today's housing market update, I'm going to share what's happening for the month of March, which is really interesting because Redfin is announcing this one day before the National Association of Realtors reports the latest housing market data for the month of March as well. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Of course, I have a lot to share here. So let's talk about prices first, because it says here pandemic boom towns and pricey coastal markets, including Austin, Texas and San Jose, California, saw among the largest price decreases. In contrast, in many more affordable areas, prices are still rising. And stay tuned here in just a little bit because I'm going to be sharing the areas in which prices are increasing the most and also the areas in which prices are decreasing the most as well. So here's something that's very, very important you guys should be aware of. If you guys don't follow the channel, I have been reporting this for about a week or so. But here's what Redfin had to say regarding prices in March. So the median home sold price in March fell 3.3% to $400,528, the largest year-over-year drop since 2012. That follows February's 1.2% dip, which was the first annual decrease since 2012. So February saw the first time we saw prices decrease on a year-over-year basis going back to 2012, and that was a 1.2% decrease. Now, fast forward 1 month to March, we saw a 3.3% decrease in the median home sold price. So to me, when I read these two sentences here, it appears that home prices are going down, when in fact they are not. The median sold price in the US, according to data from Redfin, over the past 2 months have increased 6%. Now I say this because what gets a lot of headlines is year-over-year changes. So despite the fact that prices are down by 3.3%, they're still increasing. In fact, they have increased by 6% over the past 2 months. Additionally, there's this common myth right now that because prices are down compared to 12 months ago, this would imply that it's actually cheaper to buy a house right now. And in fact, it's actually just the opposite. Because when looking at prices today compared to 1 year ago, and also compared to rates we saw 1 year ago as well, it's going to cost you approximately $266 more today to buy a median price home today compared to 12 months ago. In other words, because rates have increased from about 5.5% to approximately 6.8% at the time of filming this video, it's going to cost people a lot more to buy that same house today compared to 1 year ago, despite the fact that prices are down. In regards to home prices at the citywide level here, Redfin noted that Boise, Idaho saw the biggest decreases in home sold prices compared to 1 year ago. Prices fell by 15.4%, more than any other metro that Redfin analyzed. Next came Austin, Texas, where prices fell 13.7%. Sacramento, California, where I live and work as a real estate agent, prices are down by about 12%. San Jose, California, just south of San Francisco, down by 10.5%. Oakland, California also fell by 9.7%. Boise also saw the largest drop in pending home sales as well. Look at this, decreasing 78.8% in the number of pending home sales compared to 12 months ago. Nationwide, pending sales fell only 26.6% during that same time frame. In regards to pending home sales on a national level, again, decreasing by 27% from 1 year earlier, which is right here. So this is actually the lowest levels of the number of pending home sales since the onset of this pandemic here. But looking at pre-COVID levels, we're at the lowest levels since approximately 2015. Redfin also noted here that pandemic boom towns as well as coastal markets here saw the biggest increases in home prices over the past 3 years. However, though, those markets are coming back to earth as many buyers were priced out of those markets. So for example, prices in Boise surged a record 40.9% in May of 2021 compared to May of 2020. Absolutely insane. Compare that to the national average, we saw a 26% increase in prices back in May of 2021. In contrast, the markets in which they did not heat up as fast are actually holding up fairly well. So for example, pending sales fell the least in Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Buffalo, New York. On top of that, prices increased more than 10% year over year in March in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, El Paso, Texas, Omaha, Nebraska, Camden, New Jersey, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Also, check this out, because in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back in May 2021, where the national increase was a 26% gain in home sold prices nationwide, Milwaukee only saw an increase of 12.5%. And check this out, because this is absolutely insane here regarding new listings. It says elevated rates are prompting both buyers and sellers to stay put. New listings fell 23.3% in March to the lowest level on record aside from the start of this pandemic back in May or March of 2020. So here's a look at new listings nationwide and this huge fallout here that we've been seeing ever since really the early spring months of 2022. The current levels right now for new listings, excluding the onset of pandemic, is the lowest on record going back to at least April of 2012. And again, just like I mentioned in previous videos, for March, we should see a seasonal uptick in new listings like we do each and every year. But in fact, this year, we're seeing just the opposite, another decrease after this giant decrease we saw last year. Redfin also says here a lack of houses for sale is contributing to a decrease in closed home sales, preventing home prices from falling further and leading to bidding wars in some markets like I shared here in Sacramento. So in the range of $300,000 to $500,000, 5 offers received on average, but for all price segments in Sacramento County, 3 offers received on average for all the pending home sales we have right now. Also on a national level, Redfin's reporting that approximately 44% of all offers written by Redfin offers have received competition for that house. In other words, they have received at least one competing offer 44% of the time. And that rate of 44% has hovered around that level for the past 5 months, falling nearly a year of month-over-month decreases. Now here's a better way to look at this, because for March, 44% of all offers written by Redfin agents face competition, which by the way, Redfin defines competition if the home seller exceeds at least one competing offer. So at least 2 offers received for a property. So that happened about 44% of the time by Redfin agents here. But this is well below last year's levels. So back in March 2022, 62.2% of all offers faced competition. Now it has decreased to 44%. They also provided an update regarding the cancellation rate amongst buyers right now. So roughly 55,000 home purchase agreements were canceled in March. So 55,000 home buyers canceled their contracts to buy a house. That's equal to 14.8% of all houses that went under contract for the month of March. However, though, that's down from the peak we saw last year when the share was 16.8% last October. Redfin's chief economist Daryl Fairweather had this to say, and she is spot on. This year's spring home buying season is lackluster. There are some signs of a typical seasonal uptick. Houses are selling faster than they were this winter, for example. But that's partly because there's so few new listings. Normally, we see home buyers come out in throngs at this time of the year, which is not happening. I will add to this is that real estate is local. So some markets are seeing a giant uptick in demand, such as Sacramento, for example. But on a national level, clearly the signs here show that we're seeing a decrease in demand due to a huge decrease of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers, for example. Redfin also shared a summary as well here. It says the median sale price here decreased by 3.3%. Again, the biggest decrease going back to 2012. However, on a month-to-month basis, this is February compared to March this year, prices have increased by 3.6%. Also, by my analysis, prices have increased by 6% over the past 2 months. Of course, we saw a giant decrease of contracts being signed, down by nearly 27%. Closed home sales down by 22%. And also new listings fell by 23%. So a huge fallout of contracts being signed, but also a giant decrease of new listings as well. Meanwhile, the month supply is only at 1.9 months, which is absolutely insane. That's very, very low. Also, days in the market is at 43 days. Houses selling 9 days faster compared to February, yet they're still selling 23 days longer compared to 1 year ago. Also, the average sale price to final list price ratio for March was 98.9%, meaning on average, home sellers sold their houses for about 1% below their final list price this March. They also provide their analysis regarding 91 US metro areas. So for pending home sales, Boise saw the biggest decrease, down nearly 80% from 12 months ago, more than any other metro that Redfin analyzed here. That was followed by Baton Rouge, Louisiana, down 66.3%, Allentown, Pennsylvania, down by 60.8%, Honolulu, Hawaii, down by nearly 57%, and Greensboro, North Carolina, down by 53.4%. The smallest decreases were Fort Worth, down 2.6%, Dallas, down by 4.3%, Indianapolis, down by 5.3%, Cincinnati, down by 8.7%, and Buffalo, New York, falling 12.2%. So I would imagine this implies that every single one of these 91 metros have posted decreases in pending home sales compared to 12 months ago. In regards to home prices, Redfin noted that approximately 40% of the 91 US metros have now posted a decrease in the median sale price in those areas. That represents 37 of the 91 US metros have reported decreases. Boise fell the most, down 15.4%. That was followed by Austin, Sacramento, San Jose, and Oakland. The biggest increases, though, were Milwaukee, Wisconsin, an increase of 11.7%. El Paso, Texas, a gain of 11.1%. Omaha, Nebraska, a gain of 10.7%. Camden increasing by 10.2%. And Knoxville, Tennessee saw an increase, also a gain of 10.2%. In regards to new listings, that actually fell the most compared to a year ago. In Allentown, Pennsylvania, down 57.1%. Boise saw a decrease of 55.2%. Stockton fell by 47%. Greensboro, North Carolina fell by 46.5%. And Sacramento fell by 44.8%. Now, this is pretty wild here because out of these 91 metros, only one single metro recorded an increase of new listings. That was Charlotte, North Carolina, saw an increase of 4.3%. In regards to housing supply, Northport, Florida increased the most, a gain of 90.7%. That was followed by Austin, Texas, a gain of almost 66%. Nashville increased by 58.7%, Fort Worth a gain of 54.3%, and New Orleans saw a gain of 51%. In contrast, they actually fell the most in Allentown, down 41.7%, followed by Cincinnati, Greensboro, Lake County, Illinois, as well as Milwaukee. In regards to competition, Las Vegas saw the biggest decrease among the metros that Redfin analyzed here. So for example, in Las Vegas, 26.5% of all offers written by Redfin agents face competition. That's down from 74.8% from a year earlier. And by the way, there's a lot more trends that I did not cover in this article here, so I'll leave a link below if you guys want to take a look at it. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.